welcome back. You're still watching Foot Afrique as we're having conversations around the African continent and the football that is played on Mother Africa. Now, when one of our brothers does well on the African continent, we certainly celebrate collectively, and South Africa and Botswana will join forces and celebrate this victory for a lifetime to come. Now, Morena Ramoreboli, who is the coach of Jwaneng Galaxy, has managed to do the unthinkable as he led the team to a Botswana double within the footballing space. And may I say, 3 titles in 3 years. South Africa will remember the year 2021 when he won Cosafa with Bafana Bafana. And man, I just think, tell me if I'm wrong, very soon we could possibly see him back home. We need him back home.
Definitely. 3 titles in 3 years,
Insane.
2 trophies in 1 season. Yeah, put respect on that man.
Insane. I think the story about Morena Ramoreboli is one thing that excites me, is the fact that Jwaneng Galaxy is a team that we now see play within CAF interclub competitions, right? Botswana is a small, well, it's not that small, but it's a small country within, I still say it's within South Africa, because you understand where it's situated. But for me, it's insane.
Yes. It's insane. I watched that Orange Cup game and there was so much drama in that game. I mean, 90th minute, it was 1-1. Then we get a winner after 90 minutes. And like, the coach has been incredible in that team. Look at where they finished in their league. 65 points. Township Rollers finished 64 points, just a point behind them. And Gaborone United finished 2 points behind them. So his team
tight contest.
Yes, his team had a lot of pressure, and it's just testament to the man's great Mourinho-esque.
Absolutely, and you'll say Mourinho-esque because he's able to take a regular man and turn you into a star.
Right. See what he did with Lodge. He's a great coach.
Yeah, you talk about Lodge taking you back to the year 2021. As I said, as South Africa, that's one that will stand out for us. But we, I think in the future, will want to rope this man back into South African football because I certainly believe that he is needed. Congratulations to him. But if there's more celebrating that we need to do on the African continent, yes, the Euros may not be happening within Africa, but a lot of our African players or players who have African roots are shining on that stage.
Man, the shining is an understatement. Look at what N'Golo Kante did the other day.
That was insane.
Of Malian descent. And France have 14 players within their ranks playing for them. I just quickly wanted to read N'Golo Kante's stats for you that night. His interceptions 2, possessions 1, in defensive third 4, and he created 2 chances, passes successful 3. Now imagine he played for Mali.
Listen, and also, just to add, imagine he played for Mali. I believe we'd all love Mali because we all love Kante. You can't not love the little monster. And I call him a little monster.
Imagine Konate played for Mali, for example. And when you look at all the teams, Belgium have 9 players from Africa, of African descent, Switzerland 8, Germany 5. There's so many players of African descent. The one that hurts me the most, though, is England, because they took some of our Niger boys. Imagine Musiala playing behind Victor Osimhen and Saka on the right, Lookman on the left. Maybe Finidi George will still have his job today.
I mean, maybe, but this is the conversation that I want to have around this. Look at the AFCON, right? We have players who play within the national teams, and we'll use an exhibit as Nigeria because I know they're closer to you. You have the likes of Lookman. You have so many players in that squad who were not born in Nigeria, but because of their ancestral descent, they have opted to represent their ancestral countries, right? They shine on those stages. And they've opted not to, go to the other countries that they were born within. How then do we as fans receive these players? Because there is normally the smirks that we make as fans say that, oh, but he's not Nigerian enough. He's not Nigerian at all.
Yes, I mean, when you hear those Niger boys speaking with a British accent at the press conferences, it makes me smile, but I celebrate those players that do that. Especially in the Lookman example you've given. He's not the only one that has opted to play for his country of origin and shone. I feel like us as fans, we should always celebrate those players that play for the badge, because we will always remember the name at the back of the shirt.
How do we protect that legacy then? Because there's a new generation that's going to come up, and they may be born in Europe, right?
Yes.
But they do have Nigerian descent. How then do we get them back and say, come back, you still belong in Africa, and we'd like you to follow the footsteps of a Lukman?
Yes, we should improve our facilities. We should make sure that everything that they have there in Europe, we have here in Africa. And when they come back, they should see that we've invested in our football. We've invested millions inside our football, and made sure that also when these players get injured, there's insurance for them. They're well taken care of, and they're definitely going to come back.
This says a lot about the associations on the African continent, right? So the monies that we get, is it us using that money accordingly? Because we can just say that Nigeria must do better as a team, they must produce better results, but it does boil down to the associations.
That's right. And I always use the example of South Africa. We're seeing that because South Africa's invested in their football, we're seeing the results today. Super Sports United, for example, have a very good academy, and we're seeing Ronwen Williams saving all those penalties. Yes, he's good, but he's been well coached. He's been part of an academy that works. And more academies need to work on the continent, and we'll see the quality shine through in the football, in the national teams.
Do you not think also we have the responsibility to stop treating them as the leftovers? So we will say that you're going to want to come and play for South Africa because you know you won't make it into the Spain squad, right? I think it's also on us because, I mean, these players come together and they need to prepare for a tournament. They're just together for somewhat a week.
Yes.
Belgium. Just look at Belgium as to how they are.
Yes.
Star players, star individual brilliance, but they really struggle with coming together. Do you not believe we should give these players a bit more grace and stop treating them like the leftovers?
Yeah, that's true. I know a couple of friends behind the scenes that actually have problems with those players, that because they can't make it into a France team, for example, then they come and play for, you know, an African side, you know, but I feel like that shouldn't be the focus. We should just focus on the quality of the football, wherever they're coming from. And I agree with you, we shouldn't treat them like they're leftovers. Just enjoy what they have to offer African football.
I like what you said, because if we're going to make this an analogy, if you know anything about leftovers, those things slap. Imagine what these players would do to their national teams. I mean, think about it. Leftovers really slap.